welcome to Truck Stop Murder and True Crime Podcast. I am Gary Howard. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for returning if you're a return listener. If you are not, let me tell you what I do. I'm a truck driver. I travel around the United States, and during that time, I have to stay at truck stops for 10 hours or 30 minutes, and sometimes 34. I have not done a 34 reset in a while, but either way, I have to stay at a truck stop. And on this podcast, I'll talk about the truck stop or travel plaza, what is there to eat around it, and what drivers or people think about it. And today brings us to Troy, Texas, at the Love's Travel Stop. Also, if you want to, let's get this out of the way. If you want to become a Patreon, just truck stop, Patreon /truck stop murder. And I've been posting some truck stop walks around. So if you want, that's at $1 and above. And I have not put no $5 one episodes, but right now everybody gets access to that. If you want to do that, go over to Patreon /truck stop murder and true crime. But let's talk about the truck stop. Also, my Facebook group, Truck Stop Murder and True Crime. You could go check it out there and be social. So, with all that out of the way, let's talk about the truck stop I'm at. Like I said, I'm in Troy, Texas. I won't keep saying Troy, Illinois for some reason. I think because I go there so much, it seems like. But this place right here, 5 stars, is a 3.3 rating. It is a very busy truck stop, by the way, and we'll get into that. It is on 35, exit 3008. I think it is. Somebody says it's somewhere else, but we'll get to the reviews about that. It says 150 free spots, but that's on the truck stop itself. Right now, I'm actually right here right now at the truck stop, and I'm parked at the gravel lot they'll talk about, and we'll get into the reviews about that. There's a big gravel lot that's right next to it, and then there is the truck stop itself, which I did a walk around with my Patreon episode that I covered. I did a walk around, and you can see it was like 5 p.m. or 1700 in military time, and it was overflowing with trucks. Now the gravel lot had quite a bit of parking area in it, but the back row where everybody parked at was filled. But you could still get plenty of trucks in here. If you want to know the physical address to the place, it's 1610 Cotton Gin Road, Troy, Texas, I-35 exit 308. It has everything a truck stop has to offer, which, matter of fact, I washed my laundry here and took a shower here. And let's talk about if you're traveling here, what is there to eat? So, there's Subway as always, and McDonald's as always. It seems like those, either them two, or you're throwing a Chester's chicken there. And of course, all of the truck travel center foods like the roller hot dogs and taquitos and different things like that you could buy as well. Which I need, once I get done recording, I need to go to the Subway. I've been wanting to try some of them churros. It's 2-foot churros, which I want to try. Now, if you want to walk a little ways, like I said, it says in feet, it's 3,818 feet to Waste Not Farm. It's like a market. You can buy fruits and vegetables. It says a picture of, looks like cranberries. In 1 mile, you got Troy Food Market, Big Red's Drive-In, 1 mile. Sky Cakes, but those are all 1 mile away. But if you're stopping here, if you're a truck driver, you're stopping here, and you're just staying here for the night, either McDonald's or Subway. So, let's see what people think about this place. What do drivers think about it? The first one, right off the bat, 3-star review. More often, and I'm going to read these as they're stated on here. And now, since I'm here right now, I'll give my little insight on some of these. Right off the bat, 3-star review. More often than not, entails higher than average low fuel island time due to congestion, poor design, and inconsiderate drivers. A common designated company fuel stop. I routinely, I can't say that, bypass. Take the spanking rather than the frustration and time sacrifice parking. Avoid the night park in the back row unless you enjoy walking. Waking drivers breaking behind the middle row in the. Let me read that again. Avoid the night park in the back row unless you enjoy waking drivers breaking behind the middle row in undesignated parking spots. Okay. 1-star review from an anonymous user. Do not eat at Wendy's here. Okay, yeah, nobody's going to be eating at Wendy's here because there is no Wendy's Nasty AF, as fuck. Love should be ashamed to have them here. Again, Wendy's. Now this was 25 days ago that was posted. There's not a Wendy's here. Like I said, there's a Subway and Love's. And someone older will actually talk about the McDonald's. 3-star review from Alan. Stopped here because I ran out of time. It's super busy. Yes, true. Parking fills up quickly, but there is a dirt lot across the street that was just fine for the night. Showers were not the cleanest. I thought was fine, but water was hot and plentiful. The washers were awful, and everyone remembered to leave the washer door open after the load is done. It wouldn't be an issue. Lots of mildew. Staff was very friendly. Yeah, the staff is friendly here, and I actually washed clothes here. It was not bad, and the bathrooms, everything was clean. The shower was hot, and it was fine for a truck stop. It's actually rather clean. Here you go, number 1-star review in AU, and I was just say AU for an Amnesty user. This loves us. Always full. You're always stuck in line to fuel. Nasty McDonald's food. See, this was 30 days ago. The other guy is 25 days ago. Talking about Wendy's. There ain't no Wendy's here. Trucks parked all over the place. Very congested. I hate stopping at the Loves. You can do a 30 break easily waiting to fuel. I can't see the fuel islands right now because there's a bunch of trucks parked in front of me. Way up ahead, I could get out. They're not blocking me, but I can't see. And last time I saw it, it wasn't. It normal Loves. Anywhere you go in the country, Loves are you're always pretty busy. You just gotta know which one to go to. Like there's a couple I will never even go into. There's one north of Atlanta that I will never go. Last time I tried to go there, it took me 20 minutes just to get out of the place. Another one, AU, just says shower. All right. Medja, one of the for the 4-star review. One of the biggest parking lots. Need to drive to the back to get some spots when you get here late. I got here early this morning and I just parked in the gravel spot. But yeah, the main parking lot's going to be filled. Here you go. And the reason why I'm thinking because there is a Walmart DC which I'm going to tomorrow morning, so there probably might be I'll be going there. Let's see. 4 stars from Holland Possum. She says, shower lines move fast. I was 11th in line and waited less than an hour. Hot water and decent pressure. No deadbolt locks on the door. Parking lot was full at 4 p.m. I was able to park in the gravel lot where I'm at right now. I was able to park in the gravel lot and next door. There you go. Some of these you have to push on the button. This is all from Trucker's Path I'm getting from. Here this guy, keep it real, says it's cold water in the shower. No, it was pretty hot. Another one, hey you, don't even bother. They're too lazy to clean the showers, so they just shut them down instead. Nope, that's true either. When I was working, maybe when he was here 2 months ago, or maybe they just wasn't moving fast enough, but they were keeping them clean. She was steady, keeping them clean. Here you go. Someone parked 1-star review from AU. Someone parked literally everywhere, blocking you in all over the place. Learn how to manage time, drivers. And to add it, the restrooms inside are disgusting. You need a hazmat suit to even use the bathrooms, which is not true. Lowe's needs to really look into the operation of this place. Okay. Mr. Flavor says one, give it a 1-star. Overflow lot is a mud pit across the street. You might get stuck down to it. Well, I don't know if it's been raining lately. Right now, it's pretty hard. It's like a hard asphalt. So maybe when it rains, it gets wet. Now behind my trailer right now, there's a puddle. Okay, 8. Blah blah blah. Said I can always 4-star. I can always rely on this Loves for parking. Don't be afraid to hop the curb to get on the dirt lot adjustment to the fuel island. Hopped up with my low profile step deck and mud flaps still intact. So that's always good. When it gets busy, it gets busy. So he is true. It is a busy truck stop. Either with the because I don't think it's right between Waco and Austin. And Temple, if you might familiar with that. 4-star review. Typical Loves, except there's a big lot bigger than most Loves, which is a huge place. Fuel Island is a big cluster with everyone parking along the entrance and the foreign drivers parking in the middle of traffic. Guess the rules don't apply to them. Okay. Let me go through here. There's one I'm really looking for. Fuzzy Bear says, laugh out with a 4-star review. LOL. All the reviews are accurate, both good and bad. Someone decided to destroy the washers, so the washers are out of order. To whomever did that, bite me. Here it is. It's a 1-star review. Just put it's not extra 308. It's extra 306. Two more reviews. 4-star reviews from EA. Overpacked, not a great place to stay, but if you have to, what else can you do? Okay, and the last one, 2-star review. It seems like more of a 1-star review. Said this place is a nightmare. The end. And there's Love's truck stop for you. Now, as for the case I'm going to discuss today, it happened in Killeen, Texas. Actually, in Fort Hood, it's called something else right now. But it happened while I was there, while I was deployed to Egypt. So let's talk about what happened in Fort Hood in 2014. I was actually stationed there at the time when this happened, but I was deployed in Egypt in the MFO, these multinational Fort Observe. So I wasn't there, but I remember talking to my wife while this was going on. She was talking about how the post was shut down, their sirens going crazy, the alarm was going off, and everybody was blocked in, nobody could come in or out. Everybody was worried because they have family members there just trying to get in. It was very chaos. Now this is not the one that happened before this. I will go over that next time. Next week I'll cover that. This is the one that happened in 2014. That wasn't as bad as that. I mean, it was bad. There are spree shootings always bad, but with this one, I believe it could have been prevented. It's just the way the Army is. Anybody listen to this, you just message me on Truck Stop Murder, True Crime Podcast, or make a post how some of these won't leave. When I was in the Army in Fort Bragg, I tried to take some leave. I needed to take leave. My wife was having some issues, and nope, nope, nope. And when I was actually here, my grandmother passed away. I wanted to go to a funeral and got the Red Cross message, everything, and was denied. So some of this, I'm not saying this could have been prevented. He might have over exaggerated, but you know what? I wasn't there. I was there, but I was in Egypt. I wasn't in this area. So let's talk about the perpetrator we're talking about. We're talking about Specialist Ivan A. Lopez. He has two names on Wikipedia. Ivan A. Lopez. He was born October 23rd, 1979. Was an Iraq War veteran who was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico. He enlisted in the Puerto Rican National Guard on January 4th, 1999, but was unable to pass a required English language course and was discharged on November 30th of the same year. Lopez reenlisted on April 30th, 2003 as an infantryman and served until 2010. He served on active duty in the United States Army in June of 2008. He was married and had 4 children, 2 of them from a previous marriage. So let's talk about his service in Army. Lopez was a specialist. That's E4, sham shield, some people call it. And at the time of the shooting, he was assigned to the 13th Sustainment Command, a logistics support unit at Fort Hood. Now, I'm going to call it Fort Hood because it was considered Fort Hood at the time, but since then, they changed it to Fort Cavazos. And I'm not really for sure who it is. I guess I could have researched it. Tell you what, I'm going to look it up and go to Truck Stop Murder True Crime Podcast on Facebook. I'll put a link there. But yeah, he was previously assigned to Fort Bliss, but transferred to another base for 4 months. Then moved to Fort Hood 2 months prior to the shooting. Lopez previously reported at Fort Hood in 2006, during this time in the Puerto Rican National Guard, where he was given orders to deploy to Egypt. Look at there, we have something in common. I wonder if he went to South Camp. That's where I ended up going to South Camp. But probably, because those National Guard, we were the actually first active duty that after the Iraqi war ended, they did National Guard, and then we were the first active duty and one of the last ones. I'll save that story for another time on one of my walkarounds. Yeah, from Egypt. He was in Egypt from February 15, 2007 and February 10, 2008. From August 6 to December 18, 2011, Lopez served a tour in Iraq, participating in Operation New Dawn as security detail. On about December 12th, his convoy was involved in a roadside bombing, though Lopez would allege that he had experiences in direct combat in Iraq and cited bombing of his convoy. Investigators determined that he was not within the blast radius of the bomb used. And that was like when I first went to Iraq. I was in a convoy, and some of the vehicles did get hit, but since I was way back, I didn't qualify for a cab. Now, as I talk about this, I will divert to myself a little bit just because I was there. A lot of this is close to me, besides the mass shooting. On November 29th, 2013, he began receiving MOS reclassification training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, which is where I did basic training AIT at. Graduating, they called it Lost in the Woods, Missouri. Graduating 3 months later, during his time there, he attempted to purchase a weapon on 2 occasions. On the second occasion, Lopez was persuaded by a classmate to reconsider the purchase. So, now he's in Fort Hood. What's his motives for the shooting? Lopez was distraught over financial issues and the deaths of his grandfather and then his mother during a 2 month period, 5 months prior to the shooting. He was also undergoing regular treatment for depression, anxiety, and post traumatic stress disorder. He tried to take leave in order to attend his mother's funeral in Puerto Rico. It took 5 days for the leave to be approved, but he was only allowed to be absent for 24 hours. His mother just passed away, and 24 hours. It'll take longer than that just to get there. And see, this is what I'm saying, which allegedly upset him. I imagine it's upset him. The leave was eventually extended 2 days, but still 2 days. Most recently, Lopez had asked for a transfer, claiming that he was being taunted and picked on by other soldiers in the unit. And of course, they're going to do that. That's just how soldiers are. They take a break in action. I'm looking at the fuel islands right now, and they're open. Nobody hogging up, so you can get fuel pretty easy right now. There's 2 pumps I can see open right now. Sorry about that. But yeah, during a press conference on the day of the shooting, Fort Hood Commander Mark A. Miley stated that Lopez, I'm going to get to that, I'm hitting myself, on March 1st, 2014, over 1 month prior to the shooting, Lopez purchased the weapons used in the shooting from Guns Galore, the same store that Nidal Malik Hassan, the convicted perpetrator of Fort Hood shooting 2009, which I will cover, originally purchased his weapons. Lopez's weapons was not registered within the facility. Now let me go over that a little bit. If you live on post, you have to register. Anytime you get a weapon, you have to register it with the post to let them know that they're there. And if you live on barracks, you have to register on post, but you also have to get to the arms room. And if you ever need everything, you have to get the armor, everything, but you cannot have weapons in the barracks. But yeah, so he previously used a firearm of the same model, unregistered, with installation on February 23rd, although he reported it stolen on March 1st, the same day he bought a replacement. During that same month, he had been seeing a psychiatrist and was prescribed Ambien for sleeping problems. In his Facebook account, Lopez made posts in which he alleged that he was robbed by 2 men and also criticized Adam Lanza, the perpetrator of the Sandy Hook elementary school shooting in 2012. I don't know what Lopez also described his experience in direct combat during his tour in Iraq, although military officials confirmed that Lopez did not experience any direct combat. A Facebook page created by Lopez claimed that he was a sniper who had been in the Central African Republic. Okay. On March 24th, Lopez Battalion began tracking a 10-day permissive temporary duty (PDDY) leave request he made immediately after arriving to Fort Hood so he could help his family relocate to the department in Killeen, which is something anytime that you relocate, you get a certain amount of days so you get your family there set in and whatnot. And if you get his family in Killeen, his current one was burglarized. He was given a 4-day pass by his acting sergeant, who informed him that he would receive PDDY after his return. Lopez took the pass from March 27th to March 30th. He returned to Fort Hood on March 31st, though Though when he received his paperwork form, his form, it was filled out with errors, and Lopez had to resubmit it with corrections. Though the corrected was signed, let me repeat that again. Though the corrected form was signed, it did have a control number, which was reported to have led to the conflict in the 49th Transportation Battalion office that sparked the shooting. Yeah, every lead paper has to have the control number to admit to see if it's approved or not. So, of course, he was not happy about all this stuff. So, what did he do to retaliate all this hatred toward him, not let him take leave? Well, let's talk about what happened after that. Lopez went to the 49th Transportation Battalion Administrative Office where he tried to obtain a 10-day leave for him so he could attend his family matters. However, he was informed that he would have to come back later to retrieve it, sparking to a verbal altercation between him and several other soldiers. The request was denied because Lopez had already secured housing and apartment in Killeen, so he already had housing. He didn't have to get another one. Lopez then went outside to smoke a cigarette. At approximately 4 p.m., he returned and opened fire with a 45 caliber Smith & Wesson MP pistol. Inside the same building, he injured 3 soldiers, and I do apologize if I mess up these names. I'll do the best I can. PFC Willard Sanchez, also Sergeant Jonathan Westbrook, Sergeant First Class Warren Hardnett, all of them who had been involved in altercation with Lopez, which I don't know whether the PFC had any business even being in that discussion. Lopez also killed Sergeant First Class Daniel Ferguson while he was barricading the conference room door that was unable to be locked to prevent Lopez from gaining entry to harm anyone that was inside the conference room. He then got into his car and drove slowly to the motor pool building to which he had been assigned, firing at 2 soldiers and wounding one of them along the way on 73rd Street. Upon reaching the building, Lopez fired at a soldier inside the office, but missed her, grazed her head of another soldier. He then killed Sergeant Timothy Owens when Sergeant Owens approached him and tried to talk him down and wounded another soldier. He then moved on to the building's vehicle bay area where he injured 2 soldiers, after which his weapon misfired. Lopez then proceeded to the 1st Medical Brigade headquarters in his car. Along the way, he fired a round into a car occupied by 2 soldiers, wounding the passenger. Reaching the intersection 73rd Street and Motor Pool Road, Lopez shot at 2 other soldiers but missed both of them. Reaching the medical building, Lopez shot and wounded First Lieutenant John Arroyo, Arroyo, Arroyo Jr., in the throat as he was walking outside the western parking lot. He then entered the building and fatally shot a soldier in the main entrance desk. So that he was just sitting there chilling like CQ. I believe, let me see, he entered the building. It could have been CQ staff duty. I can't, it don't say. But his Sergeant Carlos Lazini Rodriguez. He also wounded 2 other soldiers inside. The name is Lazaney Lazani Rodriguez. He also wounded 2 other soldiers inside. Then Lopez walked down the main hallway, wounded Major Patrick W. Miller, shooting him point blank in the abdomen, and exited through a doorway. Approximately 8 minutes after the shooting first started, Lopez drove to the parking lot of another building, Building 39002, where he was confronted by an unidentified military police officer whom he had a verbal exchange with. When he brandished his weapon, the officer fired a shot at him but missed. Lopez responded by committing suicide, shooting himself. This is why I almost got ahead of myself. Yeah, he committed suicide right there in the parking lot, shooting himself in the right of the side of his head. The 2 medics from the 1st Medical Brigade, whom the officer was originally speaking with, began to perform medical aid along with the officer to Lopez before they assisted in providing aid to the wounded. A total of 34 rounds were fired during the shooting spree, 11 at the administrative office, 9 at the motor pool building, 5 at the medical building, and 9 from inside his car. It was later revealed that Lopez, who was in uniform at the time of the shooting, wasn't authorized to carry a concealed firearm. So, 3 people were killed in the shooting, including the gunman. They were identified as Daniel Michael Ferguson, 39, from Mulberry, Florida. He was a sergeant first class. He died while barricading a door. Then Timothy Wayne Owens, he was from Effingham, Illinois, which I go there a lot. I used to. There's a bar there I like to go to. He was a sergeant. He died while trying to talk to Lopez. Carlos Alberto Lasagna, Rodriguez, I'm sorry, Lasagna. He was 38 from Puerto Rico, Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. He was a staff sergeant, died at his post. And like I said, I do apologize. My pronunciation of the names. But yes, during the shooting, the Bell County Communications Center dispatched deputies, troopers from the DBS, Department of Public Safety, to the nearby post after receiving reports of an active shooter. Sheriff's Lieutenant Donna Adams said FBI spokeswoman Michelle Lee said its agents were also heading to the scene. The base confirmed the shooting in a brief statement posted online on April 2nd, 2014, on its Twitter feed and Facebook page as well. Fort Hood's officials ordered everyone to base shelter in place during the shooting. Yeah, this is when my wife, I was talking to her on the phone and she didn't know what was going on. The siren was going off, the loudspeaker was, shelter in place, shelter in place. I don't think they said active shooter. I asked her and she don't remember. The gates were closed. Everybody's trying to get in because they didn't know what's going on. They're worried about their loved ones. Of course, there's schools on there too. So, parents trying to get to see where their kids are at. So it was definitely a situation. All of the injured victims were taken to Carl R. Darnell Army Medical Center for initial treatment and stabilized. Once they were stabilized, they were then transferred to Scott and White Memorial Hospital, where they received further care. As of April 10th, 12 of the 16 wounded have been released from the hospitals and returned to duty, while the other four remain hospitalized for, in stable condition. Reacting to the statement, President Barack Obama said in a fundraiser in Chicago that he was heartbroken and assured that the events would be investigated. The base was previously the scene of the mass shooting in 2009, like I said, I'll cover, in which 13 people were killed and more than 30 wounded 1 week after the shooting. Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama traveled to Fort Hood to attend a ceremony honoring the victims. On April 16th, discussion was renewed over if soldiers should be allowed to carry concealed firearms on military base in Texas and other states. On January 23rd, 2015, the Army concluded from investigation into the shooting that was no indication of a possible or violent behavior from Lopez. Though his medical and personal records, a report on the investigation cited that Lopez commanders knew very little of his personal difficulties and would have provided him with help had he disclosed these difficulties. It also highlighted gaps in information sharing as Lopez supervisors believed they were unable to obtain his personal information due to federal medical privacy laws. Previously, in the wake of the 2009 shooting, in an affidavit, information shared regarding medical history was among 78 recommendations suggested to identify the risk of violent behavior. However, this recommendation was not implemented due to constraints on exchanging information between military and civilian behavioral health care. Provided 2050 report implements that the level of contact between commanders and their newly assigned soldiers he just got here, and the soldiers should register personal owned weapons with their commanders, which it should be, I don't know if with the commanders, but at least with their first sergeant or their platoon sergeant. Somebody needs to know that they have a weapon on. Stuff like this won't happen. But yeah, there you go. There's the 2014 Fort Hood shooting. Like I said, I was there at the time, deployed to Egypt, and my wife told me all about it. And before I forget, I just went in and bought me an item, and I want to give a big shout out to Jeanette, if that's her name. She was very helpful. Like I said, the staff is real, nice. They take care of you. They go out of their way. I like it here. I definitely will come back here again. And the fuel islands are busy. But if you'd like to tell them this story, like I said, I'm going to do the next week. I'm going to cover the next Fort Hood shooting. Rate and review anywhere you hear this. I think I'm off iTunes. I went to a new hosting site, so I'm not on iTunes no more, but I'm on everywhere else. But rate and review where you can. Also listen to Missing Miles. Is a podcast I covered on missing people and on unsolved crimes. So go check that out. Also, like I said, with Patreon, if you want to support me, maybe get some better equipment, that's Patreon/Truck Stop Murder and Truck Stop Murder and True Crime. Go do that. Email me any hate mail if you want at Truck Stop Murder. Let me repeat that: truckstopmurder@gmail.com. That's where it's at. So there you have it. And I'll end this. Let me see if I got everything covered. I believe everything is. Besides the shout out to Desiree Glover, thank you for making this possible. Me, my inspiration, my partner in crime, always there with me, going on 23 years in a couple months. So I'm excited about that. Also, I've been talking about the True Crime and Paranormal Podcast Festival in Denver on July 12th to the 14th. Tickets are on sale right now. You used promotion code Gary. That's Gary. I think it's uppercase Gary there, and you get 15% off. Come check me out, do my panel, meet the other podcasters there. We're going to have a good time as always. So thank you for listening. And like I always say, you can't fix stupid, but you can sure numb it with a 2x4. I'm out of here.